Welcome, I'm the child custody guy. I'm back. Let's talk. One of the things that I want to talk about today is, and I've talked about this in my book, and I've talked about it in various social medias before, but it's about exchanging the children. And this is a really tough topic sometimes because a lot of the attorneys out there, they just want you to meet at a police station, because that way there's no breach of the peace and people are friendlier because they don't want to get arrested because they're on police property. That may be the right thing to do, but it may not always be the right thing to do, depending on the case. Sometimes I like to use the exchanges as a means to prove what the personality is of my parent's opponent, because a lot of times they'll hide their personality. But at these exchanges, a lot of times they don't. And of course, people have been taping them, and I put that in my book 20 years ago, that you should video and audio, if you can, if it's legal in your state, these exchanges. I mean, I've had clients, having difficulty with their ex-wife's boyfriend that shoves them or assaults them. I've had, on the other end, I've had mothers that their ex-husband's girlfriend shows up and they get into a cat fight and things like that. And there's a breach of the peace, and then there's disturbing the peace, and there's police showing up, and the children see this, and it's a real mess. However, that's evidence of the inability to co-parent. When you have a pattern of behavior during these exchanges that show that you create a contrast, you're trying to be nice, you're just talking about the children when you interact with the parent, but yet they want to go to war, and they treat you like dirt in front of the children. And that's not co-parenting, that's not good role modeling, that's not good parenting by any means. And you may have to show a pattern of that to possibly spice up your case, because sometimes a 50-50 doesn't work. When you have a difficult parent, a 50-50 doesn't work. And so one of the tools, and I've used this tool often in my cases, is having someone from a distance possibly videotape the exchanges, because you don't know what's going to happen, but you want to be at least close enough you might be able to pick up what's being said. And then, of course, I want my client to tape it if they can and it's legal in their state. So you want to be able to document the confrontation. Now, the other side of that is people get crazy and shoot each other too. We can talk about that sometime, and I may have an expert on my podcast sometime to discuss that, how dangerous these things can be. But if you have a really dangerous opponent, so to speak, then you may want to show up with a police officer or an off-duty police officer to help you with your security issues, who's also a witness. So one of the things that I usually ask or tell my clients, take a witness. You might want to go early and look around, scout to see if you're getting set up somehow, or there's other people that are waiting for you if it's going to be that dangerous. And audio and video, anything you need to do in this case. So there might be 4 or 5 things that you're going to need to do as far as exchanging the children to document the inability to co-parent, or how oppositional or how difficult it is to be around that parent, because that may be the difference in your custody case sometimes. So if you meet at the police station, they may be friendlier, more amenable, because they don't want that to get arrested in front of a cop. But if you meet at a McDonald's or something, you may see the real person there. So, or if you exchange at the home, you might see different things. So that's a judgment call that you have to make on whether or not the police station is the right thing to do. Yeah, people get violent at police stations too sometimes, or they get oppositional and yell and scream and that kind of thing. But usually they behave a little better there. So it's a decision that you have to make based on the personality of the parent that's your opposition in this case. Anyway, just wanted to run that by you, because A lot of people are wondering, gee, what do I do when I go to these, these exchanges? They get so nasty and this, that, and the other. Or we go to school, we go to a soccer game, and the parents yelling and screaming. Well, that's why you need witnesses in these cases, sometimes to audio, video, because you have to prove your case, and you can't prove your case a lot of times without these tools of audio and video and witnesses. So anyway. Thank you for letting me share that, and I'll see you next time.